Hey everyone, I'm Brian, and today I'm going to open a booster box of Gundam Card Game's Phantom Aria set, plus an additional 4 packs I bought at another store. If you watched my video about Dual Impact, the second set from Gundam Card Game, I mentioned that I bought this box of Phantom Aria at the same time at the end of May. I was planning on making this video right after the Dual Impact video, but I got some other TCG products and made different videos, so Gundam Card Game went on the back burner. That is until recently when I was contacted by a game store about my Phantom Aria box pre-order, which I canceled a long time ago. So here's what happened. In early April, I reached out to a game store and asked if they were going to get any Phantom Aria product, and I was told I could pre-order a box. This was a different store than my local game store because my local store doesn't do pre-orders for Gundam Card Game for some reason. The set was due to be released on April 24th, 2026, and I ordered one box, which cost $140 before tax. I had to pay a deposit for the pre-order, but the person I was talking to said I needed to go to the store to complete the transaction in person because they don't do it online or over the phone. The box was $20 over MSRP, and I've purchased Gundam Card Game products from other stores at lower prices, but this particular game store I was going to typically had more inventory. The downside is that this store is kind of far away from where I live, so I don't go there very often. Gundam Card Game is still a niche game in my area, so only a few stores carry the cards. I went to the game store to pay for the pre-order, and I asked if they could ship the box to me so I wouldn't have to drive here again, but they said no, and I would need to come back and pick it up in person. I was told they would call me when my box had arrived, but on release day, I didn't receive a call, so I reached out to find out what had happened. The person I talked to said they didn't receive all the items from their weekly shipment, so they didn't have my box. I was told that it would probably arrive in the middle of the following week and to check back in a few days. I called again a few days later, but was told the shipment was still incomplete and the distributor wasn't sending all of the products. I was told to check back at the end of the week when the store's usual weekly shipment arrived. This back and forth of calling the store every few days went on until 2 weeks had passed when I finally went to the store to cancel my order and get my deposit back. I was annoyed about all the delays and even more annoyed when I found out that the store was prioritizing other card games because these games were also delayed. On my way home, I stopped by a Target store and picked up 2 packs of Phantom Aria, as most Targets have a 2-item limit, and well, at least on card game stuff, and I went to a second store to get 2 more packs. I was unable to find more individual packs at the Targets after this because more than 2 weeks had passed since the release date, and my local store stopped selling them. I made an entire video discussing this weird pattern at my local Targets where newly released Yu-Gi-Oh! And Gundam card game sets were only being sold within the first 2 weeks after release, and then they're not restocked. If you're interested in what I found, you can check out that video, and I'll put a link in the description. Anyway, I bought my booster box of Phantom Aria at my local game store at the end of May because they actually had some Gundam card game inventory for once, but a few weeks later, I was contacted by the game store I went to before and informed that my box of Phantom Aria was waiting to be picked up. I told the person on the phone that I had canceled my pre-order nearly 2 months ago, but according to their records, my order was still active. I asked why they waited so long to contact me, and they apologized and said sometimes things just fall through the cracks. That didn't change the fact that I canceled my order, and I told them I wasn't going to pick up the box, but they said their records didn't show a cancellation. I told them my deposit was refunded when I went to the store, but I didn't have a receipt because the store didn't give me one. Usually I get an emailed receipt after a purchase from the store, but maybe this transaction was just a hold and wasn't considered a purchase until the full balance was paid. All I was told was that I would pay for the rest of the box and the tax when I picked up the box. But that didn't matter now, and I told the person again that I'm not buying the box. They started arguing with me and said that they held on to this for me and I should do the right thing and pay for it. I said I was under no obligation to purchase this box because I canceled my order due to the store's issues with receiving the product, and it wasn't my fault that their records were incorrect or that the store didn't keep track of them properly. I asked why they couldn't just put the box with the rest of their inventory, and the person I was talking to said, very condescendingly, that it's not how we do things. I was tired of their attitude, so I asked to speak with the store owner, but they weren't in at the moment, and I told this person that I'm not getting the box, and then I hung up. The next day, I received a call from the store, and I was going to ignore it, but I answered, and it was the store owner. I explained the entire conversation I had with their employee the previous day, and the store owner seemed to be understanding of the situation, but they didn't apologize. And then they asked one more time if I could buy the box. I said no, and then asked that they not call me again about this before I hung up. It's been a couple of weeks, and I haven't received another call, so I think the matter is closed. I don't know if I'll go back to this store again. Like I said earlier, I only went to this store because they often have more inventory for Gundam card game, but in the future, I might wait for my local game store to get items in stock. I don't know how long that will take because my store is sort of hit or miss when it comes to Gundam card game, but we'll see. And it's a much shorter drive to get there than going to the other store that's farther away. Okay, so while I was editing this video, I saw on social media that my local game store has a lot of Gundam card game's newest set in stock. The first extra booster set for this game is called Eternal Nexus, and it was released recently, and while I'm not a fan of the SD or super deformed art style that they're using on the cards, I'll probably pick up a box. Well, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next Gundam card game video, which will probably be about Eternal Nexus.